Chosen one. Heaven has issued the announcement, you have overcome. The storm that tried to bury you has only proved the strength of your roots. Listen carefully, this moment is not coincidence. Heaven itself has paused to declare that the season of survival is over. You are now entering the divine economy, where your needs are no longer met by human systems, but by the inexhaustible treasury of God. Every sleepless night you endured, every tear that fell without witness, every rejection that felt like an ending, all of it was the refining fire that marked you as chosen. You did not collapse under the pressure because grace was secretly funding your endurance. You are not here by luck. You are standing at the exact point where divine investment begins. The Father is not watching from afar. He is moving resources, people, and opportunities into alignment with your purpose. The invisible realm is now shifting on your behalf. The same hands that carried you through the valley are now writing new decrees over your name, decrees of provision, peace, and purpose. What once seemed delayed was never denied. It was being prepared in heaven's unseen accounts. You were never meant to beg. You were meant to build. You were never designed to chase after blessing. Blessing was designed to chase after you. And now, as the weight of old battles falls off your shoulders, the divine funding of your destiny begins. Heaven is your sponsor, your backer, your eternal source. This message is not for the many, it is for the few who refused to give up when everything in them wanted to. It's for you, the one who carried faith when others mocked your hope. You didn't lose, you were being positioned. You didn't fail, you were being refined. Every setback was a setup for this very revelation, that God is not only restoring you, He is resourcing you. So, listen, chosen one, because this is a holy transition. You are stepping from scarcity into sufficiency. The same God who multiplied loaves in the wilderness is about to multiply favor in your hands. The divine economy is built not on numbers, but on faith. It responds not to your status, but to your obedience. The moment you trust that heaven will fund your next move, the flow begins. Heaven has been waiting for your yes. The moment you move in faith, invisible gates swing wide, and divine suppliers begin to locate you. Every seed of obedience releases provision from realms unseen. What once required striving now unfolds through alignment. You are stepping into the rhythm of divine provision. The angels assigned to your destiny are now activated. They carry instructions, ideas, and resources prepared long before you knew this hour would come. Do not hesitate. Chosen one, your faith is the key. Walk boldly, for heaven is no longer observing. It is participating in your supply. As the prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, "For the vision waits for the time set, though it tarry. Wait for it, it will come." You waited. You believed. Now, the appointed time has arrived. Heaven's resources are not late. They're right on divine schedule. What you lost in waiting, God will repay in overflow. The drought has served its purpose. It taught you dependence. And now that dependence becomes your strength. No longer will you measure your worth by what's in your account. From this day forward, heaven is your provider. You will see favor where there was resistance. You will find doors opening that logic cannot explain. You will encounter people who are answers to prayers you barely whispered. Because the season of hiddenness is over, the spotlight of divine favor is resting upon you. You have overcome every trap that was meant to break you. You have walked through fire and did not burn. You have crossed through waters that others drowned in. You are still here. And that is proof enough that heaven's hand never left you. So rise. Chosen one. Walk with the confidence of one who is fully funded by God. Lift your head. Straighten your shoulders. You are not behind. You are right on time. This message reached you because heaven planned it. You were meant to hear these words. Meant to awaken to this truth. God is funding your life from now on. If this word has found your spirit, seal it right now. Like, share, and comment to declare it to the atmosphere. Subscribe and stay connected, because your journey with divine abundance is only beginning. Type below as a prophetic sign, 770. 7. Heaven funds my purpose. And you remember the valley, don't you? Chosen one, the one that seemed to last forever, where shadows whispered lies, and silence felt heavier than stone. That valley, the one you thought would bury you, was never meant to end you. It was designed to reveal who you are when all earthly supports collapse. When you walked through that desolate season, heaven was not absent. The Father was closer than your breath, shaping something sacred inside you. Every night you cried and thought no one heard. The heavens recorded it. Every prayer that felt like it disappeared into the void was actually sowing a seed beneath the surface. That valley was your proving ground. It stripped away every illusion, leaving only what was real, your faith. You discovered that your strength was not in possessions or people, but in the quiet endurance that refused to die. It was in that hidden place that your anointing deepened. Pain became your teacher. Loneliness became your altar. And silence became the voice of instruction. God was not punishing you, He was positioning you. You thought you were being forgotten, but you were actually being fortified. You were learning to live without applause, to trust without evidence, to keep walking without map or compass. The valley was cruel but sacred. It was the school of divine dependency. Every rejection was a redirection, every heartbreak a pruning, and though the terrain was rough, the promise never left your side. Even when your tears blurred your vision, heaven still guided your steps. You remember how hope felt distant, like a faint light flickering in the distance, but somehow you kept moving. You didn't know it then, but that was grace walking beside you. Grace disguised as grit. Grace that whispered, "Keep going," when your strength failed. Grace that refused to let your story end in defeat. Now, as you look back, you can see it clearly. The valley was never your grave. It was your greenhouse. Everything that seemed to die was actually taking root. The dark soil of suffering became the womb where your purpose was conceived. What looked like loss was preparation. What felt like delay was divine design. The Word of God declares in the book of Psalms, chapter 30, verse 5, "Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning." That single line carries the truth of your journey. The nights of weeping were not wasted. They were sacred transitions between endings and beginnings. The morning light did not come because you earned it. It came because heaven ordained it. Your tears were currency, and joy was the return on investment. There were days when your heart questioned, "Why me?" and heaven whispered back, "Because you can carry what others cannot." You were not being punished. You were being purified. Gold only shines after fire. Diamonds only emerge under pressure. You were being refined until nothing false remained. Remember the moments you wanted to quit but didn't. Each one of those moments became a brick in your spiritual fortress. You didn't realize it then. But endurance was transforming you. You were learning how to be faithful when nothing made sense. You were learning how to hold on to a promise when everything screamed, impossible. That kind of faith can't be taught. It must be lived. The valley broke what was temporary so that what is eternal could emerge. It stripped away what you thought you needed so that you would realize God was all you ever needed. And now, standing on the other side, you see the evidence your spirit is stronger, your discernment sharper, your peace unshakable. You no longer fear lack because you've seen God provide in emptiness. You no longer fear rejection because you've experienced love without condition. The valley did not take from you, it gave you clarity. It taught you to hear heaven's voice above the noise of circumstance. So when others see only the glow of victory, you remember the shadows that formed it. You remember how you walked through seasons of silence, guided by invisible hands. You remember how you found faith not in miracles but in endurance. That memory becomes your testimony, a reminder that God's presence is not proven by comfort but by consistency. Now, the same valley that once humiliated you has become your platform. What tried to break you has become your evidence of divine faithfulness. And as you rise, the fragrance of your survival tells the world that God truly dwells with those who endure. Never despise your valley again. Chosen one, it was the holy ground where heaven met your weakness and turned it into wisdom. It was where your cries turned into authority, where your fear became fuel for faith. You survived, not because you were strong, but because God was determined to finish what He started in you. Every rejection you faced, every door that slammed in your face, every delay that made you question if heaven still remembered you, it was all proof that you were chosen. The world saw failure, but heaven saw formation. Every no you heard was a divine reroute toward the greater yes that was being written for you. Nothing about your struggle was wasted. Every disappointment became evidence that your destiny could not be diluted or denied. You see, chosen one, the world misunderstands divine selection. It often looks like rejection before it looks like promotion. The very people who mocked you were instruments used by God to sharpen your discernment. The environments that expelled you were never your home. They were your classrooms. You were not meant to fit in because you were designed to stand out. And sometimes, God must allow rejection to release you from rooms too small for your calling. Think of how often you tried to blend in, to silence your voice, to make yourself less intimidating to those around you. But your light could never stay dim. Every attempt to hide failed because the anointing on your life refuses to go unnoticed. You were marked long before the world knew your name. You carry an invisible seal that distinguishes you from the rest. The ancient words recorded in Romans chapter 8, verse 31, declare, "If God is for us, who can be against us?" That question still echoes through eternity. Every force that opposed you only proved that heaven was backing you. You survived what others could not, because divine favor was your shield. You were never meant to rely on human approval. Your assignment came with heaven's endorsement. Do you remember those seasons when people turned their backs and you felt abandoned? That was God's mercy, not His neglect. He removed distractions so you could hear His voice clearly. He isolated you to cultivate intimacy. Rejection became redirection, silence became strategy. Every time you thought you were losing something, you were actually gaining alignment. Chosen one. You were never fighting for validation, you were being refined for revelation. The tears you shed were watering seeds of greatness buried deep within you. You thought you were breaking down, but you were breaking open. The pain was midwifing your purpose. You carry the evidence of divine craftsmanship. When others see your scars, heaven sees signatures, proof that you've been in the potter's hands. You have endured enough to destroy you. Yet here you stand, wiser, softer, and stronger all at once. That is not coincidence, that is covenant. The proof of your selection is not in comfort, but in endurance. Ordinary lives are not tested like yours because ordinary lives are not chosen like yours. The weight you've carried reveals the magnitude of your assignment. You were not born to live unnoticed. You were born to demonstrate what it means to walk with God in full trust. And now, those who once overlooked you will witness what heaven has always known. You are anointed for visibility. God is raising you, not for vanity, but for testimony. Every scar becomes a sermon. Every loss becomes a lesson. Every delay becomes divine drama, pointing back to the author of your destiny. The people who doubted you will have no choice but to recognize that what you carry cannot be explained by talent or luck. It's glory. It's evidence of divine fingerprints. It's the unmistakable mark of one chosen before time began. So, breathe. Chosen one, you no longer need to defend yourself. Let your endurance speak. Let your peace preach. The same rejection that once hurt you will one day introduce you. Those who walked away created space for divine elevation. You don't need to chase them. Heaven is chasing you with purpose. Take this in. The stone that builders rejected became the cornerstone. You are that stone once dismissed, now destined to anchor something eternal. Every injustice, every misunderstanding, every quiet night of doubt has been redeemed by divine intention. So, if these words resonate deep within you, take a prophetic action right now. Comment, "I am proof." Write it below, not as empty words, but as declaration, because you are the living proof that divine selection cannot be stopped by human opposition. When you declare it, you are not just agreeing with this message, you are aligning your identity with heaven's record. Every time you say it, you silence the voice of doubt that tries to make you feel unworthy. You remind both heaven and earth that you did not choose yourself. God chose you, equipped you, and preserved you for this very hour. Your scars are sacred. Your endurance is holy. And your story is unstoppable. The world will know you, not by title or wealth, but by the undeniable evidence that rests upon your life. You, beloved, are proof that God never abandons what He anoints. The movement has begun. Chosen one. What was once invisible is now shifting into sight. The season of waiting has ended, and the divine transfer is in motion. You may not see coins falling from heaven, but the currents of favor are rearranging themselves around you. God is redistributing resources, aligning hearts, and transferring influence into your path. The spiritual economy that governs the unseen world is already responding to your obedience. There are moments in history when heaven releases wealth not just to bless an individual, but to fund a mission. You have reached such a moment. The tests that refined you were not random. They were prerequisites for trust. You endured loss so that greed could die in you. You walked through lack so that compassion could live in you. Now that your heart is purified, God can entrust you with what He could not give before. You are being moved from a season of spiritual survival into one of supernatural supply. This is not about materialism, it is about stewardship. The flow of divine provision follows those who know the weight of responsibility. You are called to build what others only dream of. Heaven does not send wealth without wisdom, and you have acquired wisdom through the furnace of delay. As Jesus Himself declared in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 6, verse 38, "Give, and it will be given to you, a good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap." And this is not simply a verse about money, it is a spiritual law. The kingdom of heaven operates on the principle of divine exchange. When you release what you have in faith, heaven multiplies what remains. Your obedience becomes the channel through which abundance flows. Every act of generosity, every decision to bless others, activates unseen movement in your favor. Right now, invisible ledgers are being updated with your name. Every sacrifice you made when no one was watching has been recorded in heaven's account. The tears you sowed in faith are now maturing into a harvest of provision. The divine treasurer has opened the vault, and your faith is the withdrawal slip. You are not begging for blessing, you are cashing in on covenant. Understand this: divine transfer is not always dramatic. Sometimes it comes through opportunities, through divine partnerships, through inspired ideas whispered into your spirit. A single connection can unlock 10 years of progress. A single word from God can produce what years of labor could not. That is what is happening now. The unseen intelligence of heaven is working to move you into divine alignment. You may feel a strange stirring in your spirit, an inner assurance that something new is breaking open. That's the sign of the shift. The river of divine funding flows toward movement, not stagnation. As you step in obedience, heaven releases more. The oil only multiplies when it's poured out. The manna only falls when you move forward. You are no longer being sustained by crumbs. You are stepping into creative provision. Do not underestimate the power of favor. It is the unseen hand that writes your name in rooms you've never entered. It speaks for you when you are absent. It opens doors that credentials cannot. Favor is the language of divine transfer. It translates your obedience into opportunity. You don't need to fight for it. You only need to stay in alignment with it. Chosen one. The transfer is not a one-time event. It's a continuous flow. The same way rivers never stop moving. Divine provision never ceases for the obedient heart. The more you release, the more heaven replenishes. That is why you will never run dry again. The jar of your resources will remain full, not because of calculation, but because of connection. The shift may already be manifesting subtly around you. Sudden clarity, unexpected help, divine timing that feels too perfect to be coincidence. These are not random blessings. They are signals that the spiritual transaction has cleared. Heaven has stamped it. Approved. You have been marked as a steward of abundance. From this day forward, scarcity will no longer be your teacher, overflow will. And overflow teaches differently. It trains you to bless, to build, to extend the borders of light. You are not being enriched for comfort, but for commission. You are heaven's financier, chosen to fund healing, hope, and transformation wherever you go. So walk with assurance. The transfer is not pending, it is active. You may still see ordinary surroundings, but in the unseen. Ledgers are balancing and doors are swinging open. Keep your heart generous, your ears tuned, and your steps aligned. Divine provision is not a miracle you chase, it's a rhythm you live in. The more you trust, the more heaven entrusts, and soon you will realize what you've sensed all along, that what God begins to fund, no power in existence can bankrupt. You are stepping out of survival mode now. Chosen one. You have walked through seasons where every breath felt like a battle, where you stretched what little you had and still managed to keep faith alive. You've learned the sacred rhythm of endurance. But now, heaven whispers, enough. You will no longer live from emergency to emergency. You are stepping into the atmosphere of abundance, a place where peace replaces panic, where purpose replaces pressure, and where divine supply becomes the air you breathe. It's as if you've been swimming upstream for years, struggling against invisible currents, gasping for strength. But suddenly, the current shifts. Now the river itself carries you forward. That is what divine funding feels like. It's no longer you pushing through resistance. It's heaven's current propelling you. Every obstacle that drained you is now part of the momentum that moves you. There was a time when you gave out of emptiness, when you poured from an almost dry vessel, but still, you poured. You shared words of encouragement when you yourself were breaking. You gave to others when no one gave to you. That is why heaven trusts you now. The ones who give in famine are the ones heaven enriches in harvest. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 11. Your gates shall be open continually, they shall not be shut day or night, that men may bring to you the wealth of the nations. End quote. You are that gate. Chosen one. Heaven is opening you as a portal of blessing, and through you, streams of provision will flow, not only for you, but through you. Your heart has become the treasury of divine generosity. You were not just rescued from survival for comfort. You were raised to be a conduit of abundance. Now listen carefully. This message itself, these words, this moment is part of that flow. Heaven uses voices, platforms, and communities as vessels of light. When you engage with what awakens your spirit, you are watering the soil that feeds you. When you like, when you share, when you subscribe, you are not performing an algorithmic gesture. You are sowing connection. You are saying, I recognize this stream as divine, and I choose to keep it flowing. Oh, think of it like tending a flame. A fire, no matter how bright, still needs air and hands that guard it from the wind. Every act of support, every engagement, every donation, every shared word is like adding oil to that sacred flame. It ensures that others lost in darkness can still find their way to warmth. This space, this message, is more than a broadcast. It's a living altar. When you give to sustain it, whether through sharing or sowing a gift, you are not feeding a system, you are feeding souls. You are becoming part of the echo that heaven uses to awaken the weary. Imagine a lighthouse standing tall on a stormy coast. It shines not for itself, but for ships in danger. Yet even the lighthouse needs oil to burn, needs care to keep its lamp lit. You, beloved, are both the keeper and the witness of that light. When you help it shine brighter through encouragement, through engagement, through giving, you extend the reach of its salvation. Do it not out of pressure, but out of revelation. because every seed you plant into divine soil returns multiplied, not always as money, but as favor, wisdom, protection, and peace. God never forgets a cheerful giver, especially one who gives with pure heart and clear intention. So, if this message stirs something within you, let it become action. Like the message, share it with those who need the reminder that heaven funds what faith begins. Subscribe to stay connected to the ongoing flow of words that water your spirit. And if your heart feels led, sow into this light, become part of what God is building here. Every contribution is a declaration that you believe in the movement of heaven on earth. You are not donating to a cause, you are participating in covenant. You are helping to keep the current flowing, ensuring that more chosen ones awaken to their divine identity, because when one rises, we all rise. When one light burns brighter, darkness retreats a little farther. And as you give, whether with words, action, or support, remember, heaven keeps perfect records. Every click, every seed, every prayer whispered over this mission becomes a gem in the treasury of eternity. None of it goes unnoticed. You are seen, known, and honored by the very source you honor. So, exhale. The pressure to survive is gone. You are now breathing heaven's provision. You are no longer the one begging for bread. You are becoming the baker who feeds others. You are not the one clutching the last coin. You are the vessel that heaven fills again and again. Chosen one. This is your transition from striving to flowing, from surviving to sustaining, from waiting to walking in divine abundance. Keep your hands open, your heart pure, and your spirit generous, because the same God who funded your survival is now funding your overflow. Heaven's banking system does not operate like the systems of man. Chosen one. It does not measure credit scores or earthly status. It measures faith, integrity, and obedience. Where the world requires proof before trust, heaven requires trust before proof. You are about to learn how divine funding truly works, not through visible transfer, but through invisible trust. When you step where God points, the provision appears under your feet. There are realms where obedience becomes currency. Every time you choose faith over fear, you make a heavenly deposit. Every act of generosity, every prayer whispered in the dark, every quiet yes to God's prompting, these are spiritual transactions that heaven records in your name. You may not see the balance, but heaven's treasury never miscalculates. The return always arrives, pressed down and overflowing, right when your hands are ready to receive it. You have been asking how the miracle happens, how the impossible is funded. But the question is not how it is, who. The provider himself is your source. You are not living off what you earn. You are living off what he ordains. His system is not bound by economy, inflation, or time. One divine idea, one whispered instruction, can accomplish more than years of human labor. As was spoken in the sacred texts of old, in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 8, verse 18, "But remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant." Not, you see, wealth is not a reward, it's a responsibility. Heaven funds those it can trust. And you, chosen one, have proven trustworthy through the testing. The seasons of lack were your audit. The trials were heaven's background check. Every time you obeyed without understanding, you passed another test of trust. Now the results are in. You are approved for divine funding. The currency of this kingdom is not gold, it is glory. And glory manifests wherever faith is active. When you choose trust, you become an investor in heaven's economy. When you release fear, you unlock flow. That is why some people live in endless struggle. They hold their faith hostage to evidence. But you, chosen one, have learned that evidence follows obedience. You might wonder why the provision sometimes delays. It's because heaven doesn't fund confusion. It funds clarity. Once your heart aligns with His will, once your motives purify, once your intentions match His mission, the transfer is instant. You don't need to force it, you just need to stay positioned. There is a rhythm in this system, a divine mathematics that cannot fail. Faith plus obedience equals flow. The more you trust, the more you receive, the more you give, the more you grow. Heaven's accounts never run dry because they draw from eternal wells. Every time you give thanks, every time you bless others, every time you follow divine instruction, you open another channel for blessing to find you. Remember the widow in the scripture who poured oil into jars. The oil only stopped flowing when there were no more jars to fill. Heaven is still asking that question. How many jars will you bring? Your expectations determine your overflow. Bring large jars. Chosen one, expect abundance. Not just enough. God is not funding you for survival. He is funding you for impact. And right here, right now, as your spirit awakens to this truth, heaven registers your readiness. You have been faithful over little, and now much is being entrusted to you. The shift may begin subtly, an open door here, a divine connection there, but soon the floodgates burst. You will see provision not only for your needs, but for the vision burning inside you. You will find resources that match your calling. You will meet people carrying keys to doors you didn't know existed. You will witness divine timing, so precise it will make your heart tremble. And you will know beyond doubt, this is the economy of heaven at work. So when the Spirit moves in your heart as you read these words, seal this revelation with faith. Comment 555. Write it as a prophetic act, as a declaration that you trust heaven's banking system. The number 555 symbolizes divine alignment, grace multiplied, favor renewed, and provision released. When you comment it, you're not typing digits, you're echoing agreement with heaven's ledger that already bears your name. Let the world chase status, you will chase surrender. Let others hoard, you will release. Because you know where your funding comes from and who it belongs to. The same God who lifted you from the valley now establishes you as a steward of divine wealth. You will never lack again, because your source is eternal. This is the revelation of section 6. Heaven is your bank. Obedience is your investment. And grace is your endless return. Faith, chosen one, is the currency of heaven. It is the unseen coin that purchases what human striving never could. While others labor in worry, you walk in trust. While the world calculates, you believe. And belief, when anchored in divine promise, unlocks doors that logic keeps shut. Faith is not simply hope, it is transaction. It is the invisible handshake between your spirit and God's promise. When heaven funds your life, It does not deposit material things first. It deposits faith. That faith, small as a seed, begins to grow roots that reach into the invisible. The roots draw from divine soil wisdom, timing, and favor, until suddenly, what you believed begins to take form. Faith does not wait for sight. Sight waits for faith. There were moments when you wondered if your believing made any difference. You prayed and saw no immediate change. You gave and saw no instant return. But what you did not see was the movement in heaven's back office. Angels were being dispatched. Circumstances rearranged. Hearts softened. Paths cleared, all in response to faith. Nothing moves faster through the spiritual realm than a heart fully convinced. According to what is revealed in the book of Hebrews, chapter 11, verse 1, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And understand this, faith is not denial. It does not pretend the mountain isn't there. It simply refuses to let the mountain dictate reality. Faith looks at impossibility and says, you are subject to God's command. When you speak in faith, you echo the language of creation itself. The same voice that said, let there be light, now speaks through you. There is a mystery here. Faith cannot be borrowed. It must be built. You build it through repetition, through trusting God in small things until you are ready for greater ones. Every answered prayer becomes a brick. Every testimony another layer. Over time, what was once fragile becomes fortress. You no longer panic when storms arrive because your faith has roots deep enough to hold you steady. The most dangerous time for a believer is not the storm, but the silence. When heaven seems quiet and instructions fade, the enemy whispers doubt. But faith, real faith, flourishes in silence. It grows when you choose to believe, even without confirmation. You learn to rest in God's consistency rather than chase constant reassurance. You discover that absence is not abandonment, it's promotion. Heaven is watching to see if your trust can stand without visible signs. Remember Abraham, called to leave everything familiar, to journey toward an unnamed promise. He had no roadmap, no proof. Yet he moved. His obedience wrote the blueprint for faith. The same principle applies to you. The faith that got you through yesterday will not be enough. For tomorrow, you must keep expanding. Keep believing for more. Faith multiplies through motion. When you act on it, heaven amplifies it. When you declare what God says, not what you see, creation rearranges itself. Faith is not quiet. It speaks, commands, and establishes. You may not realize it, but your words are currency too. Speak lack, and you empower loss. Speak promise, and you authorize provision. The chosen ones of this generation will not live by reaction, but by revelation. You are one of them. You do not need constant signs to know what God has said. You have matured to the point where faith alone sustains you. That is divine promotion. It is proof that heaven trusts you with mysteries unseen. And what happens when you begin to live like that? The world starts to notice. Your peace becomes suspicious to those still ruled by fear. Your calm in crisis becomes a sermon louder than words. Faith turns you into a walking testimony of divine stability. You become living evidence that unseen realities are more powerful than visible ones. Every miracle begins as a quiet decision to trust, to move, to believe. You no longer wait for lightning to strike before acting. You understand that the act of believing is the lightning. Faith electrifies the atmosphere and invites heaven's power to descend. Chosen one. This is your inheritance. The currency of heaven is in your hands. Spend it boldly. Do not hoard belief. Release it into your dreams, your prayers, your declarations. The more you spend, the more heaven replenishes. You have reached a level of maturity where faith no longer feels like risk, it feels like rest. You know that what God begins, He sustains. You have become fluent in heaven's economy, and your transactions are steady, secure, and increasing. Hold your head high. Your faith is wealth. Your trust is power. And your belief is the key that opens every vault of divine supply. You are not hoping anymore, you are knowing. The tables are turning now. Chosen one. Quietly, without fanfare. Heaven is reversing the order of things. Those who once pitied you will witness your rising. The very systems that excluded you will open their gates in your honor. What was meant to shame you has become the platform of your vindication. This is the divine turnaround, subtle, Zopha'in, and unstoppable. For a long time, you walked through life as though hidden behind a veil. People underestimated you, misread your silence as weakness, and mistook your waiting as failure. But heaven never lost sight of you. God watched from behind the curtain, allowing the misunderstanding to run its course. Because when the revelation finally comes, it won't be subtle, it will be undeniable. You are in the season of divine reversal. Every injustice, every insult, every overlooked moment is being rewritten in your favor. The scales that once tipped against you are being balanced by unseen hands. You are not being avenged through vengeance, but through elevation. God will not fight your battles by humiliating your enemies. He will honor you in their presence. As the Spirit spoke through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 23, verse 5, You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup runs over. Alleluia. This scripture is not about revenge, it is about recognition. God does not need to destroy those who doubted you. He will simply bless you until the evidence is too loud to ignore. The oil on your life will speak louder than arguments. The overflow in your cup will silence every whisper of doubt. That is divine justice, grace displayed in the open. Think of Joseph, betrayed by his brothers, forgotten in prison, and then suddenly summoned to the palace. That's how divine tables turn suddenly. One moment you are invisible, the next, indispensable. The same people who wrote you off will need the wisdom God placed in you. They won't understand how it happened, but you will. You'll know that heaven kept the timeline hidden for such a moment as this. You have endured mockery that left invisible bruises. You have been faithful in obscurity when applause was absent. But now, heaven is shifting you from hidden labor to visible favor. You are being called out of the shadows, not for vanity, but for testimony. When God elevates you, it will not just bless you, it will vindicate His faithfulness in the eyes of those who watched you suffer. And do not carry bitterness into your elevation. The tables turn best when your heart is pure. If you rise with resentment, you forfeit the fragrance of grace. But if you rise with mercy, your testimony becomes healing for others. Remember, the ones who hurt you were part of your divine training. Without them, you would never have learned endurance, discernment, or strength. You are not coming back for revenge. You are coming back for revelation. Your story is the proof that God can rewrite any script. The pain was real, but the restoration will be louder. The valleys you endured are now producing fruit that others will taste. And when they ask how you survived, you will smile and point upward because it was never your doing. Every divine reversal carries a lesson in humility. It reminds you that power belongs to God alone. He lifts and he lowers, not according to popularity, but according to purity. That is why your promotion took time. He had to build your foundation strong enough to handle visibility. You were not delayed, you were developed. Now the shift is accelerating. The season of humiliation is closing. The season of harvest has begun. The same places that once held your pain will become testimonies of your peace. The same mouths that spoke against you will speak your praise without realizing it. That's what happens when heaven turns the table. The story changes hands. Chosen one. You do not need to announce your rise. Heaven will handle your publicity. When oil overflows, fragrance travels. People will sense your elevation before they see it. Stay humble. Stay grateful. And remember the valley that shaped you. The blessing coming upon you is not random, it's repayment. Divine interest for every tear shed, every injustice endured, every lonely night survived. In this season, God is not just changing your circumstances, He's changing your reputation. You are being known not for struggle but for strength, not for pain but for perseverance. Those who once questioned your faith will now seek your counsel. Those who once dismissed your prayers will now request them. So stand tall. Chosen one. You are stepping into rooms where your name was once ignored. You are being honored in spaces that once rejected you. Heaven is setting the table, and your seat has been reserved all along. The meal is ready. The oil is flowing, and your overflow is about to begin. There comes a point, chosen one, when the whisper of provision becomes a voice. The same voice that spoke light into the void now begins to speak into your life, clear, personal, and unmistakable. It is not a shout that startles, it is a gentle certainty that settles in your chest and changes how you see everything. That voice does not simply comfort, it directs. It carries instructions wrapped in peace, guidance clothed in stillness. In this new season, God is not only funding your journey, He is speaking strategy into your spirit. Provision begins with a word. One divine sentence can change everything. A single instruction can open a lifetime of blessing. You do not need to chase opportunities when heaven can whisper one idea that creates them. The ancient words recorded in the Gospel of John, chapter 10, verse 27, reveal this mystery. My sheep hear my voice. I know them, and they follow me. This is the foundation of divine provision. It is relational, not mechanical. You are not simply receiving from a distant God. You are walking with a present shepherd. His provision follows His direction. The moment you obey what you hear, the flow begins. You may not always recognize His voice at first. Sometimes it sounds like intuition. Other times, like stillness that interrupts your anxiety. It doesn't shout over noise, it silences it. Heaven's voice speaks in clarity, not confusion. When peace arrives unexplainably after prayer, that is Him. When a door closes that you were forcing open, that is Him too. He is not only the God who provides, He is the God who prevents. You've had moments where the path before you suddenly shifted, A plan you were sure of dissolved, and disappointment crept in. But later, you realized it was protection, not punishment. Heaven rerouted you before the crash you couldn't see coming. The voice of God is not always about what to gain. Sometimes it's about what to avoid. Listening saves more than asking ever could. There are ideas waiting in the silence. Right now, blueprints, names, timing, and instructions that will unlock your next level. Heaven's funding isn't just financial, it's intellectual, emotional, spiritual. God will fund your wisdom before He funds your wallet, because without revelation, resources slip away. You've reached a stage where faith must become listening. You don't need more confirmation, you need deeper concentration. The next miracle will come disguised as instruction. It won't look like thunder, it will sound like timing. That's why discernment is your greatest asset in this hour. When you recognize heaven's tone, you won't confuse delay with denial again. Sometimes the voice will tell you to move, other times it will tell you to wait. Both are provision. Obedience is not about speed, it's about synchronization. You are not late when you're aligned. Heaven measures time differently. What looks slow on earth is precise in eternity. Chosen one. You are learning the language of divine flow. God speaks not only through words, but through patterns, people crossing your path. Sudden peace. Even resistance that pushes you in the right direction. Every detail becomes dialogue. The Holy Spirit is the translator, teaching you how to interpret heaven's cues. And the beauty of it all? You don't need to strive to hear. You were designed to hear. The same way lungs know how to breathe. Your spirit knows how to recognize His frequency. You were created with receptors for revelation. That's why the world's noise exhausts you. It's not your native tongue. You were born to hear the whisper that created worlds. When you walk in that awareness, provision stops being pursuit and becomes partnership. You no longer chase, you collaborate. God speaks, you move, and supply meets you mid-step. The more you trust His direction, the more fluent you become in heaven's rhythm. So pause for a moment. Feel that quiet tug within your spirit, the one that says, "This word is for me." That's Him speaking even now, confirming what you already sensed. The next door, the next connection, the next miracle. It's already waiting for your obedience. If this word is echoing through you, respond in faith. Comment, speak. Lord, write it below, not as repetition, but as recognition. When you type it, you're declaring that you are tuned in, that your ears belong to heaven, not to fear. You're saying, I'm ready for instruction, not just intervention. Because every provision begins with a word. The moment God speaks, supply begins its journey toward you. And when you say, "Speak, Lord," you give Him permission to reveal what's already prepared. You don't need to worry about missing it. What's yours is magnetized by obedience. Just stay still. Stay listening. Stay open. The voice of provision is speaking again, and this time, you will not just hear it, you will follow it. The mantle of overflow has been placed upon you. Chosen one. It does not arrive with trumpets or crowns, it arrives quietly. Like morning dew, resting on fields that have waited all night for rain. You have been faithful with little, and now heaven entrusts you with much. The mantle is not an accessory, it is a responsibility. It is the weight of blessing balanced by the wisdom of humility. Overflow is not about excess, it's about purpose. It is what happens when the cup of your life fills to the brim and refuses to stop. It spills over, blessing everything around it. God does not pour into you so that you can contain it. He pours so you can channel it. The overflow is proof that you were never meant to live for yourself. As the Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, second letter, chapter 9, verse 8, God is able to bless you abundantly, so that in all things you will abound in every good work. But remember this, to carry overflow is to carry movement. Water that stagnates begins to stink. The same applies to blessing. When you hoard what heaven sends, the flow slows down. The moment you release, it accelerates again. That is why generosity is not just a moral act, it is maintenance for divine flow. So what does this look like in our world today? It looks like supporting what feeds you. It looks like ensuring the well that gives you water never runs dry. Every time you like, share, or subscribe, you're doing more than supporting a message. You're tending to a living spring. You're saying, "This stream has nourished me. I will help it reach others." And think of a vineyard. The vines produce grapes only because someone tends the soil, prunes the branches, and guards it through seasons. This space, these words, this divine conversation is a vineyard. Your engagement is the gardener's hand. Your support, the sunlight that keeps it thriving. And for those who feel led to give, to sow into this light, understand this. You are not giving to a person, you are giving into purpose. Donation is not transaction, it is transformation. It's the spiritual act of saying, "I recognize this as holy ground." When you sow into holy ground, the harvest never misses your address. Think of the oil lamps in the temple. They burned day and night, illuminating the sacred place. But they could not stay lit without oil. Someone had to keep bringing it, quietly, faithfully. The presence of light depended on unseen hands. In the same way, your support, your prayers, your shares, your gifts becomes the oil that keeps this flame burning. There are people, somewhere out there, wandering through shadows of despair, waiting for a word like this to find them. When you share it, you become a bridge between their darkness and God's light. You become part of the miracle. That's what overflow does. It multiplies hope through simple, intentional actions. Even the smallest gesture matters. A comment of encouragement, a quiet gift, a moment spent spreading this message. It all counts. Heaven measures motives, not amounts. A mustard seed of sincerity outweighs a mountain of pretense. You are now walking as a steward, not a survivor. You are called to carry light, to fund hope, to invest in eternity. The mantle on you ensures that whatever you pour out will return multiplied peace for your kindness, strength for your generosity, joy for your obedience. So, beloved, if this message has stirred something sacred in you, let your response be both spiritual and practical. Let your engagement keep this river flowing. Like the message, share it with those who need the reminder that God's abundance is not theory, it's truth. Subscribe, not for content, but for continuity, so that the same voice that poured into you can keep speaking life into your tomorrow. And if your heart leads you to sow, give not from pressure, but from gratitude. You are not funding words, you are fueling waves. Waves that reach hearts beyond your sight. Voices that carry peace to the unseen. You are building altars of light in digital deserts, and every altar you sustain becomes a beacon for another, chosen one, still searching for hope. That is the beauty of overflow. It multiplies without boasting. It blesses without boundaries. It carries heaven's fragrance wherever it flows. You are not only walking in blessing, you are now responsible for how blessing moves through you. Carry the mantle well. Chosen one, keep your hands open, your heart generous, your spirit humble. For as long as you remain a channel, heaven will never stop pouring. There is a quiet but unmistakable shift happening inside you. Chosen one, you can feel it not in your bank account first, but in your mindset. Something divine is rewriting the way you think about lack, about giving, about value. The one who once borrowed in desperation is now being shaped into one who lends in purpose. You are crossing the line between dependency and dominion. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. The God who carried you through scarcity is now inviting you to steward abundance. You are no longer the borrower, you are the lender. The flow that once stopped with your need now begins to move through your hands to others. And heaven smiles, because this was the plan all along, to transform you from survivor to source, from receiver to releaser. This is the identity shift that terrifies darkness. The enemy is not afraid of believers who wait for blessings. He trembles before those who become blessings. You have been entrusted with something more valuable than money, the ability to manifest heaven's generosity in the world. When you see a need, you no longer panic. You feel purpose rise within you. You understand that you are funded for such moments. The voice of God thundered in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 15, verse 6. For the Lord your God will bless you as he promised, and you will lend to many nations, but borrow from none. And this was never just a financial promise, it was an identity decree. You were destined to live above dependence, to stand as a pillar of stability in unstable times. This is the financial reflection of a spiritual truth. Those who are rooted in God never run out. They become sources of shade, strength, and sustenance for others. Now that you stand on the other side, do not forget that season. Let it be your compass. The purpose of abundance is not superiority, it's service. The higher you rise, the lower your hands must reach. You will find your greatest joy not in what you possess, but in what you provide. You will discover that fulfillment is not measured in accumulation, but in impact. You are stepping into a new kind of wealth, one that flows through you rather than stops with you. This wealth cannot be stolen, taxed, or manipulated, because it's woven into your divine design. It manifests through peace when others panic, generosity when others grasp, faith when others fear. The world will call it influence. Heaven calls it inheritance. You will notice that your perspective on resources is changing. Where once you saw limits, now you see potential. Where once you prayed for provision, now you pray for strategy. You begin to understand that money is just one stream of heaven's many currencies. Favor, creativity, time, peace. These are the true riches of the chosen ones. And as this awareness expands within you, you begin to walk differently. There's a quiet confidence, a calm authority. You no longer speak from desperation, but from delegation, you represent heaven's wealth. You know that whatever leaves your hand never leaves your life. It simply changes form and returns multiplied. You will start noticing divine setups, people crossing your path at just the right moment, opportunities disguised as inconveniences, ideas that won't let you sleep because they carry the blueprint of blessing others. That's how heaven works. It hides purpose inside responsibility. Do not shrink from this role. You were born for this weight. You have graduated from surviving miracles to performing them. You are no longer waiting for help to arrive. You are the help that arrives. You will walk into rooms not asking what you can get, but discerning what you can give. And in that giving, you will find yourself sustained. The shift from borrower to lender is not just economic, it is spiritual mastery. It means you have learned the rhythm of divine exchange. Receive in humility. Release in generosity. Repeat in faith. You are no longer afraid of emptying your hands, because you finally trust the source that refills them. Chosen one. This is your divine promotion. You have proven faithful with survival. Now you are being trusted with supply. Heaven is not asking you to be rich. It is asking you to be responsible. You are a channel now, a living bridge between heaven's abundance and earth's need. So walk tall. Carry this mantle with grace. You are the lender, not the borrower, the fulfiller, not the seeker. Wherever you go, may heaven's economy move through you like a living river. Unstoppable, generous, eternal. Hidden streams are surfacing. Chosen one. What you thought had dried up was never gone. It was simply buried beneath layers of time and testing. God has been hiding resources, connections, and opportunities beneath the soil of your patience. And now, as the appointed hour arrives, heaven is removing the dust and revealing what was always meant to flow toward you. You see, divine provision is rarely obvious. It hides in plain sight, disguised as obedience, disguised as faithfulness, disguised as perseverance. While you were wondering if heaven had forgotten, heaven was engineering hidden channels in your favor. These are not new blessings. They are long-approved transactions finally reaching your hands. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Isaiah, chapter 45, verse 3. I will give you the treasures of darkness and hidden riches of secret places, that you may know that I, the Lord, who call you by your name, am the God of Israel. Oh, the streams you are about to see will not flow from where you expect. God's provision does not follow your plans, it follows your alignment. Some of the greatest blessings come disguised as interruptions. The stranger who crosses your path, the sudden shift in your career, the idea that refuses to leave your heart. These are streams forming in secret. Heaven works like underground rivers. You can't see them, but they shape the landscape from below. When the time is right, they burst through, turning deserts into gardens. That's what is happening to you now. The dry ground of your past is cracking open, and water is rising. You will soon realize that what looked like waiting was actually watering. Do not underestimate how subtly God moves. He does not announce every blessing with thunder. Sometimes his miracles arrive like mist soft, quiet, but unstoppable. The opportunity will appear ordinary, yet it will carry extraordinary consequence. That's why discernment matters more than sight. If you look only with your eyes, you'll miss what your spirit already knows. Chosen one. The streams that are opening now will not just sustain you, They will sustain others through you. You are not the destination of blessing, you are the distributor. These streams carry provision for families, for projects, for dreams that serve divine purpose. You are being trusted as a custodian of flow. In this new rhythm, lack will no longer define your story. You will begin to experience divine coincidences, resources appearing just in time, partnerships forming effortlessly, doors opening without explanation. But remember this, the hidden streams do not respond to anxiety, they respond to faith. Worry clogs them, worship clears them. Sometimes God hides provision in people. There are connections. Heaven is about to highlight relationships that will accelerate what you could never accomplish alone. You will recognize them not by appearance, but by peace. When the right people enter your orbit, the atmosphere itself feels lighter. That's how you'll know the connection is divine. There will also be streams of creativity ideas that carry the breath of heaven. Don't dismiss them because they seem small. A seed doesn't look like a forest, but inside it, entire ecosystems sleep. The idea stirring in your heart right now is a key disguised as a whisper. Write it down, pray over it, work it with faith. The river of divine inspiration never runs dry for those who honor it. And yes, some streams will open in places that once hurt you. God is poetic like that. He brings abundance out of the very soil that held your sorrow. The job you lost will birth a business. The relationship that ended will lead you to divine partnership. The pain you survived will fund your purpose. This is the redemption of every drought. If you can feel that stirring inside your chest right now, that's confirmation. The flow is beginning. The pressure you feel isn't resistance, it's the build-up before breakthrough. Heaven is turning valves. Angels are rerouting provision, and your obedience is the signal that activates it all. So, as an act of faith and alignment, seal this revelation now. Comment 444. Write it not as a number, but as a declaration. The number 444 symbolizes divine structure, heaven building something stable and lasting in your life. When you type it, you're saying, Lord, I'm ready for the hidden streams to surface. I'm ready for your structure, your strategy, your flow. The drought is over. The wells are open. And from this point forward, you will not just drink, you will overflow. The hidden streams are yours to steward, and they will never run dry again. Restoration has a sound. Chosen one. It is not the noise of crowds or applause. It is the quiet rhythm of divine repayment echoing through your life. You may not have noticed it yet, but heaven has already begun returning what was lost time. Peace, confidence, and opportunity. What slipped through your fingers in one season is being restored with interest in the next. You once looked at what was broken and thought it was gone forever. You mourned relationships, chances, and years that felt wasted. But God does not operate on the timeline of regret. He redeems the time others think is dead. The same hands that formed galaxies are now piecing together the fragments of your past, making them whole in ways that will leave you speechless. As the prophet Joel wrote in the sacred text, chapter 2, verse 25, I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten. You are walking into the season of holy reimbursement. Every injustice you endured was recorded. Every sleepless night is being exchanged for rest. Every no that wounded you is now transforming into a divine yes. God has a strange way of using subtraction as setup for multiplication. He removes what you think you need so he can replace it with what will never fail. Look closely, and you'll notice patterns emerging, people reappearing with softened hearts, opportunities circling back with greater scope, ideas returning, matured. Nothing in your story was wasted. Even the detours were divine. You were not wandering, you were being rerouted. Heaven's GPS never loses signal. Restoration is not repetition. God does not give back what you lost in its old form. He upgrades it. The relationship you mourned will return as community. The dream that died will rise as a mission. The peace that left you will come back fortified by wisdom. You are not receiving replicas, you are receiving revelations. Sometimes, restoration begins in your perception before it touches your circumstances. You start to see your pain differently. You begin to bless what once broke you. That's the first miracle when bitterness gives way to clarity. You start realizing that every heartbreak was an invitation to deeper healing. Every disappointment, a redirection toward destiny. Once your perspective shifts, your reality follows. Chosen one. Restoration does not rush. It builds quietly, one detail at a time, until suddenly you find yourself standing in answered prayers you forgot you prayed. You may not remember the moment you healed, but one morning you'll wake up and realize the weight is gone. The scar remains, but the sting has vanished. That is divine craftsmanship. God mending you so gently that you barely notice the transition. And yes, you will get back what was lost, but it will not look the same. The friends who return will come with deeper purpose. The doors that reopen will lead to higher ground. Even your finances will carry new wisdom. You won't just earn, you'll discern. You won't just build, you'll bless. Restoration without wisdom is temporary. Restoration with wisdom is eternal. Sometimes God withholds restoration until you stop idolizing what you lost. When your heart no longer aches for the past, heaven can safely release your future. That is why the waiting has been long. He was purifying your desire. You don't crave revenge anymore. You crave redemption. You don't seek validation. You seek fulfillment. And that shift has opened heaven's vault. Now, the repayment begins. The joy that was stolen is returning in double measure. The opportunities that slipped away are reappearing, multiplied. The years that felt wasted are suddenly producing fruit. The places that once mocked you will now celebrate you. What was broken will not only be mended, it will become beautiful. But remember this, restoration is not only for your comfort, it is for your calling. God restores you so you can restore others. The strength you gained through pain is not meant to sit idle, it's meant to lift those still crawling through their own valleys. You are now a walking testimony of recovery, a living monument of grace. When people look at you and ask, "How did you survive?" you will not boast. You will bear witness. You will say, "It was all Him." Because restoration is not about repayment, it's about revelation. It reveals who God has always been, faithful, just, and intimately involved in every detail of your becoming. So breathe deeply. Chosen one. The divine exchange is in motion. What was emptied is being filled. What was broken is being rebuilt. What was stolen is being returned. pressed down, shaken together, and running over. The season of loss has expired. The season of restoration with interest has begun. Generosity has always been the heartbeat of heaven. Chosen one, you are now stepping into the part of your calling where giving is no longer an act, it is an identity. You have become a living vessel of divine generosity, a carrier of an anointing that releases others from fear and lack. God has blessed you not merely to increase you, but to express himself through you. The world often misinterprets generosity as loss. It believes that to give is to subtract, to part with something valuable. But heaven teaches the opposite. Every gift is multiplication in disguise. When you release what you have in obedience, God releases what you never knew you needed. Giving is not about transferring possessions. It is about transferring trust. The apostle reminds us in the book of Acts, chapter 20, verse 35. It is more blessed to give than to receive. No, that single statement carries the code of divine mathematics. To give is to step into the rhythm of God's own heart. When you bless another, you are echoing creation itself, the eternal act of something being poured out so that life may continue. The sun gives its light. Rivers give their water. Trees give their shade. And heaven gives its sun. You have reached the level where giving will no longer feel like sacrifice. It will feel like breathing. Because when your heart becomes synchronized with heaven, generosity stops being an event and becomes an instinct. You start to see giving everywhere, in listening to someone's pain, in encouraging a weary soul, in sharing wisdom you paid for with experience. Generosity is not measured by the size of what leaves your hand, but by the sincerity of what leaves your heart. A small act done in love can shift an atmosphere more than a large one done for recognition. True givers are secret builders. They construct unseen bridges of hope while the world chases applause. Chosen one, you have walked through seasons that made you understand lack. That is why you will never take abundance for granted. Your empathy has become your authority. You will give differently because you remember the feeling of empty cupboards, of silent prayers over unpaid bills, of loneliness that money could not fix. You will give with wisdom, not waste. You will pour from fullness, not from fear. There is an anointing on your life that multiplies what you release. When you bless others, resources replenish faster than you can count. Heaven replenishes generous hands because they are trusted conduits. Your giving does not deplete you, it defines you. It aligns you with the rhythm of the Creator, who never stops pouring into existence. You will soon notice how your presence itself starts to provide. People will say, "Something shifts when you enter the room." That is because the spirit of generosity carries peace with it. It disarms anxiety, melts envie, and invites abundance. Wherever generosity dwells, division cannot survive. You are being sent into places where fear has made people stingy with love, with trust, with faith. Your very existence there will remind them that love is never bankrupt. Generosity also breaks cycles. It disrupts poverty, mindsets passed down through generations. When you give freely, you teach your bloodline that scarcity is not hereditary, it's learned, and therefore it can be unlearned. You are not just blessing individuals, you are rewriting family legacies. The next generation will inherit not only what you earn, but how you give. But never forget, generosity is not limited to comfort. Sometimes God will ask you to give in moments that stretch your logic. You may be called to sow, while you're still waiting for your own harvest. Yet every stretch of obedience becomes the seed of your next miracle. You are never poorer for giving. You are only positioned for more. There will be times when your generosity is misunderstood, when others misread your motives. Do not let that discourage you. Heaven keeps perfect records. Every act of kindness, every unspoken prayer, every unseen gift, they are written in divine ink that time cannot erase. You are investing in eternity, not approval. Chosen one, you are part of heaven's distribution network now. You are the proof that generosity still exists in a world consumed by scarcity. And though the world may not always reciprocate, heaven always responds. Every drop you release returns as rain in another season, watering seeds you didn't even know you planted. So, continue to give time, wisdom, peace, forgiveness, resources. Give until giving feels natural, until your life itself becomes an offering. For in doing so, you mirror the one who gave everything, not to impress, but to restore. You are the carrier of the generosity anointing. Walk in it with grace. Give as one who knows that what leaves your hand never leaves your life. The more you release, the more heaven refills. You are proof that love, when released, always multiplies. There are moments, chosen one, when heaven begins to teach you its deeper codes, the principles that sustain the flow of divine wealth. You are now entering one of those moments. What you are learning is not about money, but about mastery. Kingdom wealth is not built by possession, but by perception. It begins when you understand that every resource carries a purpose, and every blessing carries a blueprint. The kingdom does not operate on luck or hustle. It operates on principle. God hides his wealth within patterns. Those who discern them rise above chance. You are now being invited to learn the codes of sustained favor, to understand how to keep the oil flowing without manipulation, fear, or striving. Heaven speaks through the writings of Solomon in the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 9 to 10. Honor the Lord with your wealth, your first fruits of increase, your barns filled plenty, your vats overflow wine. The second code is circulation. Just as rivers that stop flowing turn into swamps, so does blessing that ceases to move. Divine resources must breathe. They move through generosity, through support, through intentional participation. That is why every engagement matters, every like, every share. Every word of encouragement is a ripple that carries the message further. It is how heaven multiplies light through digital waves. When you like this message, you're not just interacting with content, you're striking a spiritual match. You're saying, "This truth burns in me. Let it burn in others too." When you share, you extend the reach of heaven's whisper to souls who may be crying in silence right now. You become a lighthouse keeper, maintaining a flame that guides others through their storms. And when you subscribe or stay connected, you're building consistency with the source that nourishes you. Just as farmers return daily to their fields, you return to the well that never runs dry. You're saying, "This is where my spirit grows. This is where I refuel." It is not about numbers, it is about nurture. There's another sacred code: investment. In heaven's economy, what you support, you sustain. When you donate, you are not losing, you are anchoring. You are saying to heaven, "I believe in this river, and I want to keep it flowing." Every gift becomes a drop of oil that keeps the flame alive. Think of it like feeding a lamp. The light may seem eternal, but it still needs oil. You become a keeper of illumination. Even the smallest act matters. You may think, my contribution is too small to make a difference. But remember, the widow's 2 coins became immortal in Scripture because they carried sincerity. It is never about the amount. It is always about the alignment. Heaven weighs the heart, not the hand. So let your engagement today be both symbolic and sincere. Let it be the whisper that says, I see the light. I choose to keep it burning. The more we guard this flame together, the more the darkness retreats. Every interaction, every gesture, every seed you plant ensures that others can find the same hope you found here. Think of a tree, standing strong in the forest. It drops its fruit not to boast, but to feed others and grow new trees. This message is that tree. By nourishing it through your presence, your sharing, your support, you ensure its fruit continues to reach those still hungry for truth. You may never meet the people your engagement will touch. You may never see their tears dry or their spirits awaken, but heaven will, and heaven will remember that you helped build a bridge of light across their night. That is the quiet beauty of divine partnership. Chosen one. You are no longer a spectator in this movement. You are a participant. A pillar. A guardian of flow. As you engage, do it with intention. As you give, do it with love. And as you continue to walk with this message, remember, what you nurture nurtures you back. So, before you move on, pause. Feel the resonance of this word. Let it sink deep. Then take your action like share, subscribe, or sow as you are led. And finally, leave your mark. Comment. Kingdom flows. Write it not as mere words, but as a declaration that you are part of something sacred, something eternal. You are aligning your life with heaven's rhythm, ensuring that what started as a whisper becomes a wave of glory. For you are not just hearing these words, you are carrying them. And through your action, others will too. That is how the kingdom expands, not through noise, but through hearts awakened to generosity, honor, and flow. There is a crown resting upon your life now. Chosen one, a crown not made of gold, but of grace. It does not glimmer under sunlight, yet all of heaven recognizes its brilliance. This crown is the symbol of provision fulfilled, of faith rewarded, of destiny affirmed. You are not wearing it because you conquered others, but because you conquered yourself, your fear, your doubt, your hesitation. Heaven has seen your endurance, and now your authority shines. For years, you walked, bowed beneath the weight of unanswered prayers, carrying invisible burdens with quiet dignity. Every sigh you released became incense before the throne. And when no one applauded your resilience, heaven documented every breath. Now, that season has reached its turning point. You are no longer the one waiting for validation. You are the one heaven validates. You have been crowned in provision. As the Apostle Peter wrote in his first letter, chapter 5, verse 4, when the chief shepherd appears, you will receive the crown of glory that never fades away. This is that moment of glory, not loud, not theatrical, but sacred. It is the moment when you realize you are no longer striving to be sustained. You are already sustained. The provision that once felt distant has now become your atmosphere. You live surrounded by sufficiency. What used to be an answered prayer has now become your daily rhythm. Being crowned in provision does not mean life will be without challenge. It means challenge can no longer threaten you. You have learned the secret of divine security, that peace is not the absence of storms, but the presence of stability. The same waves that once frightened you now obey your voice. You speak differently because you no longer beg, you bless. You no longer chase, you command. The authority you carry is gentle but undeniable. Yet, in this new realm, humility becomes your safeguard. The higher the crown, the lower the posture must be. Those crowned by heaven do not rule, they serve. You have been entrusted with influence not to dominate, but to deliver. The crown is not a trophy. It is a reminder that heaven's authority rests best on humble shoulders. You are now entering the phase where people will look to you for guidance. They will sense stability in you that they crave in themselves. Do not shrink from it. You were built for it. Speak gently but firmly. Love fiercely but wisely. Let your peace do the preaching. The way you walk through life will become its own sermon. Every crown comes with weight. It demands discipline. You will feel the call to greater responsibility, to use your resources, your influence, and your story to build what lasts. The crown of provision is not for decoration, it is for duty. You are called to steward the abundance you have received so that others may find their way to faith. Chosen one, remember how far you've come. You were once the one looking for miracles. Now, miracles flow through you. You were once asking for help. Now you are the helper. You were once gathering crumbs. Now you distribute bread. You are living proof that when heaven funds a life, it does not stop at survival. It produces sovereignty. And even as you wear this invisible crown, stay teachable. The most dangerous moment for any king or queen is when they forget they are still servants. Keep your ear tuned to heaven's whisper. Keep your heart soft toward those still in their valleys. True royalty never forgets the taste of dust. You will soon notice that everything about your life begins to attract divine order. Your relationships, your work, your surroundings, all of them will start to reflect the beauty of your inner peace. People will say, "There is something different about you." They won't see the crown, but they will feel its presence. They will sense the grace that governs you now. You stand now as a beacon of provision, as living testimony that heaven truly funds what faith begins. The crown upon you is the proof of partnership, the symbol of a covenant fulfilled. You did not earn it, you inherited it, and nothing in this world can take it from you. So walk boldly, crowned in grace, provision, and peace. You are heaven's royal ambassador, carrying wealth that cannot fade and authority that cannot fail. Every step you take now proclaims one truth: the chosen one lacks nothing. There is a flow that never ends. Chosen one, a rhythm of grace that began long before you were born and will continue long after you take your final breath. You have stepped into that eternal current, the river of divine provision, once hidden and hesitant, now runs boldly through every part of your existence. What began as survival has matured into sovereignty. What once felt like constant reaching has become effortless receiving. You are no longer chasing, you are carried. Heaven's funding is not a temporary miracle, it is a permanent partnership. The one who called you has committed to sustain you. Every resource that will ever be required for your purpose has already been assigned to your timeline. You don't have to fear running out. Your source cannot be exhausted. You have moved beyond the concept of enough into the reality of overflowing. As the prophet David wrote in the Psalms, chapter 36, verse 9, "For with you is the fountain of life. In your light we see light." This fountain is your inheritance. It does not flow because of effort, but because of relationship. When you stay close to the light, you see paths that others miss, opportunities that others overlook, solutions that seem to appear from nowhere. This is the eternal flow, heaven illuminating what the world calls impossible. Look around your life now. The evidence of this flow is everywhere. The peace that guards you, the timing that aligns perfectly, the favor that follows you, even in silence. All of it is proof that God's economy has taken over. You are no longer sustained by systems, you are sustained by spirit. Even when the world trembles, you remain anchored. Because your foundation is divine, there will still be storms, but they will not drain you. They will simply redirect the current toward new growth. The same waters that once threatened to drown you will now carry you farther than your strength ever could. That is the paradox of divine provision. It turns trials into transportation. You no longer resist the current, you ride it with grace. Every chosen one reaches this moment, the realization that the journey was never about achieving wealth or recognition, but about learning to flow. You have learned to trust timing, to surrender plans, to listen more than you strive. The old fears have lost their voice. You are not afraid of starting over, because you know you never start empty. You begin every new chapter with heaven's backing, and now you live as a living stream yourself. People drawn to you will find peace, wisdom, and restoration without even trying. You will refresh those who cross your path. Your words will carry calm. Your presence will create clarity. You have become an extension of heaven's generosity, a conduit of divine life moving through human form. This flow will not always look like abundance to the untrained eye. Sometimes it will take the form of quiet moments, of inner joy that defies logic, of doors that close because better ones are forming behind the scenes. The eternal flow does not chase spectacle, it preserves substance. You are now walking in stability, not spectacle. You are led by purpose, not pressure. And as you continue forward, you will notice how naturally gratitude rises within you. It will no longer feel forced or practiced. Gratitude will become your second language. You will wake up thankful before your mind catches up to why. This is what happens when one lives in the flow. Thankfulness becomes instinct, not effort. The chosen ones of this generation are being positioned as examples of divine partnership. You are part of that remnant, those who live as proof that heaven funds obedience, not ambition. You are not building empires, you are building eternity through small, faithful acts of alignment. The rewards you carry are not merely external, they are eternal. The world will look for your secret. They will study your steps, your peace, your resilience. But they won't understand that your success is not strategy, it's surrender. You are powered by grace, not grind. You are fueled by trust, not transaction. You have learned that the greatest wealth is contentment in the will of God. So rest now in the rhythm of that truth. Let the eternal flow guide every decision, every encounter, every dream. You are fully funded, fully backed, fully covered. What God has begun in you cannot be reversed, because it flows from eternity itself. The river that runs through your spirit is the same river that watered Eden, the same river that will flow through the new heaven and earth. And now, the journey closes where it began with you. Standing in the light of divine confirmation, you have overcome. You have learned that God funds what He ordains, that faith is the only currency heaven respects, and that surrender is the gateway to endless supply. The lessons you've walked through have reshaped your spirit. You are no longer the same soul who began this journey. You are refined, restored, and crowned. Look back for a moment. Every valley, every delay, every silent night, it all had purpose. What once felt like punishment was preparation. What felt like lack was training in trust. You now carry something priceless, unshakable knowing. You don't just believe that God provides, you've lived it. From this day forward, your steps are ordered, your hands are blessed, and your words carry weight. You have become a vessel of divine economy, a walking river of generosity and peace. The world may fluctuate, but your flow will not. You are plugged into the eternal source, and that connection can never be severed. So walk boldly. Chosen one, walk with quiet assurance that you are fully backed by heaven. The days of scrambling are over. The days of overflow have begun. You are funded, favored, and fortified. And as you live in this truth, remember to pour out as freely as you receive, for that is how the river stays alive, by never stopping its flow. You are the evidence that God's promises are not poetic, they are practical, powerful, and personal. The world will know through you that divine provision is not a myth. It is a movement, and you, beloved chosen one, are its living proof.